So for this demonstration, I will be using Zenoss Core Network Monitoring System. I'm using version 4.25. There is currently a version 5 that is available. However, for me personally, it was difficult to install even with auto-deploy scripts. And it also, I believe, has some higher system requirements. So I'm using Zenoss version 4 instead, version 4.25 in particular, and I downloaded a VMware zip file from Zenoss that contains the Zenoss operating system already pre-installed on a CentOS Linux distribution. So once you download this VMware zip file, it's just a matter of opening the VMX file within VMware Player or VMware Workstation, and that will automatically launch. And the settings that are used by this virtual machine is 3 gigs of memory and 20 gig hard drive space. Also to note is the network adapter. Be sure to set it to be bridged so that it would be able to discover devices on your physical network as well as any GNS3 devices that you have connected to your virtual cloud, which we will talk about in a little bit. So here I have the network adapter. It's been bridged to my wireless NIC, and once that is done, you simply launch it, and there's nothing really to do in the virtual machine except maybe if you wish to ping your network devices to see if you can in fact communicate with them. So I have a bunch of virtual routers and I'm getting replies, so I'm sure that my Zenoss network monitoring system can reach them and vice versa. Alright, the default username and password to log into your Zenoss system is either root or admin, and the password is Zenoss. And to access the actual network monitoring system web interface, simply put in the IP address followed by the port number, which is 8080, and that will bring up this web interface that you see here. So as I said, the virtual machine, there's nothing to configure in the virtual machine. You simply start it, and then when the virtual machine is started, whatever IP address that you've specified in your virtual machine is what you will specify as the URL to log into Zenoss. So I'm going to go ahead and log in, and I've already discovered a couple routers. To discover devices, you're going to select Infrastructure tab and then go to Devices. So I've discovered just two devices so far, and these two, one is a physical, this is an ESA device. The other R2 is a virtual router. Alright, how I connected the virtual routers or the GNS3 routers to my network. If I open up GNS3, you simply put in a cloud, and then you configure that cloud to be bridged to your wireless network connection. And it's as simple as that. If you have issues connecting your virtual routers to your physical network, I suggest either using a physical network card instead, physical network wired connection, instead of bridging it to a wireless connection, or you can create a Microsoft loopback adapter and bridge that to your wireless NIC, which is what I have done here, and I added the network bridge as the adapter to be bridged. So as you can see here, I have a number of Cisco routers, different models. They're all connected via routing protocols, so each router can reach any other one, and they can also reach my physical interface, and you can also reach my Zenoss virtual machine. So once you've ensured network connectivity between your Zenoss monitoring system and your router or switch or firewall, you can go ahead and discover devices. So let's go ahead and add another device. So I'll select network and select the plus icon here which says add devices. I can either add multiple devices via network discovery, auto discovery, where I can specify a range, a network subnet range for example, and it'll go ahead and discover all the routers and switches in that network segment. But in this case I'm going to manually add a single device. So I'm gonna go ahead and add the IP of a virtual GNS3 router. It's going to be a network class device, and I'm going to also specify the snmp community. Now with snmp, you need to ensure that snmp is enabled in your router or switch. If you're enabling snmp in a router, simply specify the community name. The one I'm using is the default public community name. If you're trying to discover an ASA device via snmp, run the following commands, where this IP address of the host is the IP address of your Zenoss monitoring system. So I've already run this command on my router, and I think that everything here looks okay. So I'm going to click on add, and then to see the status of that network discovery job, I'm going to click on advanced and then go to the jobs tab, and let's see the logs. So it finishes very quickly without any errors. Let's go back to the dashboard and devices, the infrastructure and devices tab. So select network tab, and we are seeing there's a new device. It's R1, which is our GNS3 router. You can select it, and what's nice about the snmp discovery is that we are able to find the model number, the iOS version. We're able to discover all the interfaces. If I select the interfaces tab here, we're seeing all interfaces here on R1. So R1 has 8 interfaces, 4 fast Ethernet and 4 Ethernet, and we see the IP addresses on each of the interfaces. Additionally, we can also select each interface, and we can select graphs, and we'll get information on the bandwidth for the bandwidth usage on each interface. Additionally, we can even select details. Gives you the speed and duplex for each interface. There's also the MAC address. So let's go ahead and add another router. Click on devices, click on add single device. I want to change the location because last time it went into the network tab. I'm going to select router Cisco, and I'm going to select a device, a single device, enter the snmp string, and we can also enter groups. Let's say I wanted to add it to the test group. Say you have a bunch of routers that belong to a particular site or geographical location, you can group them accordingly. You can create your own groups and add the devices as they're discovered to those groups. So I've already created a group called test. I'm going to add it to that group and discover, go to advanced, go to jobs, and let's see the status of this. Right, so that finished. Click back infrastructure and then go to network. Now we should see it properly under the Cisco tab. Here we go, there's R3. It's discovered the network, iOS software version, the model of the router, the serial number, and also all interfaces on that device. And if we go to devices, we'll see it's listed under the test group that we created earlier. You can also get information on routes, as you see here on the device. So for example, this particular router says that the networks 1.0 and 2.0 are directly connected, and there's a static route to a static default route to the next hop address 192.168.1.1. If you go to interfaces, you'll get to see a graph of, and this is particularly useful, but we can monitor the bandwidth or throughput through an interface. So on this fast Ethernet 0 interface, we can click on zoom in and zoom in further into this graph here, and it shows you the bandwidth usage over time. And this is also seen in, this device, I believe this is a router. We also have this information on my ESA, I believe it's also configured. ESA inside interface, we can zoom in, so it shows you the usage over time. So for the last couple of minutes I haven't used anything. I haven't initiated or received any traffic from the outside internet. So this concludes our tutorial on Cisco Zenoss monitoring. I hope that this has been informative in some way.